First millennium. First century line of Pope. Saint Peter. Born Jewish, first Pope, Apostle of Jesus, according to Catholic tradition, he received the keys of the kingdom of heaven, Matthew chapter 16, verse 18 to 19. Feast Day, Feast of Saints Peter and Paul, June 29, Chair of Saint Peter, February 22nd. He is recognized by the Catholic Church as the first Bishop of Rome appointed by Christ. Also revered as saint in Eastern Christianity, with a feast day of June 29. St. Peter's Basilica in Vatican City is named after him. Saint Linus. First Roman Pope. Feast day September 23rd. Also revered as a saint in Eastern Christianity, with a feast day of June 7th. Saint Anacletus. Pope Anacletus, died at the age of 92, also known as Cletus, was the third bishop of Rome, following Peter and Linus. Anacletus served as pope between 79 and his death, at age 92. Cletus was a Roman, who during his tenure as pope, is known to have ordained a number of priests and is traditionally credited with setting up about 25 parishes in Rome. Although the precise dates of his pontificate are uncertain, he died a martyr, perhaps about 91. Cletus is mentioned in the Roman canon of the Mass. His feast day is April 26. Saint Clement I. Roman. Feast day November 23. Issued 1 Clement, which is said to be the basis of apostolic authority for the clergy. Also revered as a saint in Eastern Christianity, with a feast day of November 25. He was martyred by being tied to an anchor and being thrown in the sea. Saint Evaristus. Hellenized Jew. Said to have divided Rome into parishes, assigning a priest to each. Feast day of October 26. Pope Evaristus was the Bishop of Rome from 99 to his death at 107. He was also known as Aristus. He is venerated as a saint in the Eastern Orthodox Church, the Catholic Church, and Oriental Orthodoxy. He is usually accorded the title of martyr, however, there is no confirmation of this. It is likely that he was the Bishop of Rome when John the Apostle died, marking the end of the Apostolic Age. First millennium. 2nd century line of Pope. Saint Alexander I. Roman. Inaugurated the custom of blessing houses with holy water. Also revered as a saint in Eastern Christianity, with a feast day of March 18. Saint Sixtus I. Greek. Feast day of April 6. Also revered as a saint in Eastern Christianity, with a feast day of August 10. Saint Telesphorus. Greek. Feast day of January 5. Also revered as a saint in Eastern Christianity, with a feast day of February 22. Church Father Saint Irenaeus called him a great martyr. Saint Hyginus. Greek. Tradition holds he was martyred, feast day January 11. Saint Pius I. Roman, brother of Hermes. Martyred by sword, feast day July 11. Decreed that Easter should only be celebrated on a Sunday. Saint Anicetus. Hellenized Syrian, first Syrian Pope. Tradition holds he was martyred, feast day April 17. Decreed that priests are not allowed to have long hair. Saint Soter. Greek. Tradition holds he was martyred, feast day April 22. Declared that marriage was valid as a sacrament blessed by a priest, formally inaugurated Easter as an annual festival in Rome. Saint Eleutherius. Greek. Tradition holds he was martyred, feast day May 6. Saint Victor I. Roman Berber, first pope to have been born on the continent of Africa. Known for excommunicating Theodotus of Byzantium. Cordodecimanism controversy. Saint Zephyrinus. Roman. Combated against the adoptionist heresies of the followers of Theodotus the Byzantium who were ruled by Theodotus and Asclepiodotus. Although not physically murdered, he is called a martyr for the suffering he endured. First millennium. 3rd century line of Pope. Saint Calixtus I. Greek. Martyred, feast day October 14. Saint Urban I. Roman. Also revered as a saint in Eastern Christianity, with a feast day of May 25. Saint Pontian. Roman. First to abdicate after exile to Sardinia by Emperor Maximinus Thrax. The Liberian catalogue records his death on September 28, 235, the earliest exact date in papal history. Saint Anterus. Greek. Feast day January 3. Also revered as a saint in Eastern Christianity, with a feast day of August 5. Saint Fabian. Roman. Divided the communities of Rome into 7 districts, each supervised by a deacon. Feast day January 20. Also revered as a saint in Eastern Christianity, with a feast day of August 5. Saint Cornelius. Roman. Died as a martyr through extreme hardship, feast day September 16. Saint Lucius I. Roman. Feast day March 5. Saint Stephen I. Greek. Martyred by beheading, feast day August 2. Also revered as a saint in Eastern Christianity, with the same feast day. Saint Sixtus II. Greek. Martyred by beheading. Also revered as a saint in Eastern Christianity, with a feast day of August 10. Saint Dionysius. Greek. Feast day December 26. Saint Felix I. Roman. Pope Felix I was the Bishop of Rome from January 5, 269 to his death on December 30, 274. Saint Eutychian. Roman. Pope Eutychian, also called Eutychianus, was the Bishop of Rome from January 4, 275 to his death on December 7, 283. Saint Caius. Roman. Martyred by beheading, according to legend. Feast day April 22. Also revered as a saint in Eastern Christianity, with a feast day of August 11. Saint Marcellinus. Roman. Feast day April 26. Also revered as a saint in Eastern Christianity, with a feast day of June 7. First millennium. 4th century line of Pope. Saint Marcellus I. Pope Marcellus I, January 6, 255 to 16 January 309, was the Bishop of Rome from May or June 308 to his death. He succeeded Marcellinus after a considerable interval. Under Maxentius, he was banished from Rome in 309, on account of the tumult caused by the severity of the penances he had imposed on Christians who had lapsed under the recent persecution. He died the same year, being succeeded by Eusebius. His relics are under the altar of San Marcello al Corso in Rome. His third-class feast day is kept on January 16. Saint Eusebius. Pope Eusebius was the Bishop of Rome from April 18, 310 until his death on August 17, 310. Saint Miltiades, Roman Berber. First Pope after the end of the persecution of Christians through the Edict of Milan, 313 AD, issued by Constantine the Great. Presided over the Lateran Council of 313. Saint Sylvester I, Roman. Feast day December 31st. Also revered as a saint in Eastern Christianity, with a feast day of January 2nd. First Council of Nicaea, 325. Under him was built the Archbasilica of St. John Lateran, Santa Croce in Jerusalem and Old St. Peter's Basilica. Stated to be the recipient of the donation of Constantine, which was later shown to be a forgery. Saint Mark, Roman. One of Mark's undertakings was to compile stories of the lives of martyrs and bishops before his time. There is some reason to believe he founded 2 churches in the area of Rome. One of them is still known to this day as the Church of San Marco, although it is greatly changed since his time. The other church was at the Catacomb of Balbina, a cemetery. Emperor Constantine gave gifts of land and furnishing for both buildings. Feast day October 7. Saint Julius I, Roman. He was involved in the Arian controversy. Credited with splitting the birth of Christ into 2 distinct celebrations, the Epiphany stayed on the traditional date, and the Nativity was added on December 25. Saint Librius, Roman. Earliest pope not canonized by the Roman Catholic Church. Revered as a saint in Eastern Christianity, with a feast day of August 27. Saint Damasus I. Pope Damasus I was the Bishop of Rome from October 366 to his death. He presided over the Council of Rome of 382 that determined the canon or official list of sacred scripture. He spoke out against major heresies in the Church, including Apollinarian and Macedonianism, and encouraged production of the Vulgate Bible with his support for Jerome. He helped reconcile the relations between the Church of Rome and the Church of Antioch, and encouraged the veneration of martyrs. Saint Siricius, Roman. His famous letters, the earliest surviving texts of papal decretals, focus particularly on religious discipline and include decisions on baptism, consecration, ordination, penance, and continence. Siricius' important decretal of 386, written to Bishop Hymerius of Tarragona, commanding celibacy for priests, was the first decree on this subject. Saint Anastasius I, Roman. During his reign he also encouraged Catholics in North Africa to fight Donatism. He instructed priests to stand and bow their head as they read from the Gospels. Among his friends were Augustine, Jerome, and Paulinus. Jerome speaks of him as a man of great holiness who was rich in his poverty. He died in Rome and was eventually buried in the Catacomb of Pontian together with his son and immediate successor, Innocent I, which is probably a unique case of a pope being succeeded by his son. First millennium. 5th century line of pope. Saint Innocent I, a Roman. Pope Innocent I, Latin, Innocentius I, was the Bishop of Rome from 401 to his death on March 12, 417. He may have been the son of his predecessor, Anastasius I. From the beginning of his papacy, he was seen as the general arbitrator of ecclesiastical disputes in both the East and the West. He confirmed the prerogatives of the Archbishop of Thessalonica, and issued a decretal on disciplinary matters referred to him by the Bishop of Rouen. He defended the exiled John Chrysostom and consulted with the bishops of Africa concerning the Pelagian controversy, confirming the decisions of the African synods. The Catholic priest-scholar Johann Peter Kirsch, 1,500 years later, described Innocent as a very energetic and highly gifted individual, who fulfilled admirably the duties of his office. Saint Zosimus. Greek. Pope Zosimus was the Bishop of Rome from March 18, 417 to his death on December 26, 418. He was born in Meserica, Calabria. Zosimus took a decided part in the protracted dispute in Gaul as to the jurisdiction of the See of Arles over that of Vienne, giving energetic decisions in favor of the former, but without settling the controversy. His fractious temper colored all the controversies in which he took part, in Gaul, Africa, and Italy, including Rome, where at his death the clergy were very much divided. Saint Boniface I. Roman. Pope Boniface I, Latin, Bonifatius I, was the Bishop of Rome from December 28, 418 to his death on September 4, 422. His election was disputed by the supporters of Eutychius, until the dispute was settled by the emperor. Boniface was active maintaining church discipline, and he restored certain privileges to the metropolitical sees of Narbonne and Vienne, exempting them from any subjection to the primacy of Arles. He was a contemporary of Augustine of Hippo, who dedicated to him some of his works. Saint Celestine I. Roman. Pope Celestine I, Latin, Celestinus I, was the Bishop of Rome from September 10, 422 to his death on August 1, 432. Celestine's tenure was largely spent combating various ideologies deemed heretical. He supported the mission of the Gallic bishops that sent Germanus of Auxerre in 429, to Britain to address Pelagianism, and later commissioned Palladius as bishop to the Scots of Ireland and northern Britain. In 430, he held a synod in Rome which condemned the apparent views of Nestorius. Saint Sixtus III. Roman. Pope Sixtus III was the Bishop of Rome from July 31, 432 to his death on August 18, 442. His ascension to the papacy is associated with a period of increased construction in the city of Rome. His feast day is celebrated by Catholics on March 28. Saint Leo I. Roman. Convinced Attila the Hun to turn back his invasion of Italy. Wrote the tome which was instrumental in the Council of Chalcedon and in defining the hypostatic union. Feast day November 10. Also revered as a saint in Eastern Christianity, with a feast day of February 18. Saint Hilarius. Roman. Pope Hilarius, or Hilary, was the Bishop of Rome from November 19, 461 to his death on February 29, 468. In 449, Hilarius served as a legate for Pope Leo I at the Second Council of Ephesus. His opposition to the condemnation of Flavian of Constantinople incurred the enmity of Dioscorus of Alexandria, who attempted to prevent him from leaving the city. Hilarius was able to make his escape and return to Rome by an indirect route. He later erected an oratory at the Lateran in honor of John the Evangelist, to whom he attributed his safe passage. Much of his pontificate was spent in maintaining ecclesiastical discipline in conformity with canon law, and in settling jurisdictional disputes among the bishops of both Gaul and Spain. Saint Simplicius. Roman. Papacy during the collapse of the Western Roman Empire and subsequent overtaking of Rome and Italy in general by Odoacer. Pope Simplicius, died 2 or March 10, 483, was the Bishop of Rome from 468 to his death. He combated the Eutychian heresy, ended the practice of consecrating bishops only in December, and sought to offset the effects of Germanic invasions. Saint Felix III, Imperial Roman Pope, sometimes called Felix II, great-great-grandfather of Pope Gregory I. Pope Felix III, died March 1, 492, was the Bishop of Rome from March 13, 483 to his death. His repudiation of the Henatican is considered the beginning of the Acacian Schism. He is commemorated on March 1. Saint Gelasius I, Roman Berber, the last pope to have been born on the continent of Africa. The first pope called the Vicar of Christ. Pope Gelasius I was the Supreme Pontiff of the Catholic Church from March 1 AD 492 to his death on November 19, 496. He was probably the third and final bishop of Rome of Berber descent. Gelasius was a prolific author whose style placed him on the cusp between late antiquity and the early Middle Ages. His predecessor Felix III employed him especially in drafting papal documents. During his pontificate he called for strict Catholic orthodoxy, more assertively demanded obedience to papal authority, and, consequently, increased the tension between the Western and Eastern churches. Anastasius II, Greek, tried to end the Acacian Schism, but it resulted in the Laurentian Schism. Pope Anastasius II, died November 19, 498, was the Bishop of Rome from November 24, 496 to his death. He was an important figure in trying to end the Acacian Schism, but his efforts resulted in the Laurentian Schism, which followed his death. Anastasius was born in Rome, the son of a priest, and is buried in St. Peter's Basilica. Saint Symmachus, Roman. Pope Symmachus, died July 19, 514, was the Bishop of Rome from November 22, 498 to his death. His tenure was marked by a serious schism over who was legitimately elected Pope by the citizens of Rome. First millennium, 6th century line of Pope. Saint Hormisdas, Roman, father of Pope Silverius. Acacian Schism. Pope Hormisdas, 450 to 6 August 523, was the Bishop of Rome from July 20, 514 to his death. His papacy was dominated by the Acacian Schism, started in 484 by Acacius of Constantinople's efforts to placate the Monophysites. His efforts to resolve this schism were successful, and on March 28, 519, the reunion between Constantinople and Rome was ratified in the Cathedral of Constantinople before a large crowd. Saint John I, Roman. Pope John I, Latin, Ioannes I, died May 18, 526, was the Bishop of Rome from August 13, 523 to his death. He was a native of Siena, or the Castello di Serena, near Chiusdino, in Italy. He was sent on a diplomatic mission to Constantinople by the Ostrogoth king Theodoric to negotiate better treatment for Arians. Although relatively successful, upon his return to Ravenna, Theodoric had the Pope imprisoned for allegedly conspiring with Constantinople. The frail Pope died of neglect and ill treatment. Saint Felix IV, Roman, sometimes called Felix III, built Santi Cosma e Damiano. Pope Felix IV, died September 22, 530, was the Bishop of Rome from July 12, 526 to his death. He was the chosen candidate of Ostrogoth King Theodoric, who had imprisoned Felix's predecessor, John I. Saint Boniface II, Ostrogoth, first Germanic Pope. changed the numbering of the years in the Julian calendar from a Burbi Condita to Anno Domini. Pope Boniface II, Latin, Bonifatius II, died October 17, 532, was the first Germanic bishop of Rome. He ruled the Holy See from September 17, 530 until his death. He was born in Ostrogoth. Saint John II, Roman. First pope not to use his personal name, as it was associated with the Roman god, Mercury. Pope John II, Latin, Ioannes II, died May 8, 535, born Mercurius, was the Bishop of Rome from January 2, 533 to his death. Saint Agapetus I, Roman. Feast days April 22nd and September 20th. Also revered as a saint in Eastern Christianity, with a feast day of April 17th. Pope Agapetus I, died April 22, 536, was the Bishop of Rome from May 13, 535 to his death. Saint Silverius, Roman. Exiled, feast day June 20th, son of Hormisdas. Pope Silverius, died December 2, 537, ruled the Holy See from June 8, 536 to his deposition in 537, a few months before his death. His rapid rise to prominence from a deacon to the papacy coincided with the efforts of Ostrogothic King Theodahad, nephew to Theodoric the Great, who intended to install a pro-Gothic candidate just before the Gothic War. Later deposed by Byzantine general Belisarius, he was tried and sent to exile on the desolate island of Pomerola, where he starved to death in 537. Pope Vigilius, Roman. Pope Vigilius, died June 7, 555, was the Bishop of Rome from March 29, 537 to his death. He is considered the first pope of the Byzantine papacy. Born into Roman aristocracy, Vigilius served as a deacon and papal apocrisiarius in Constantinople. He allied with Empress Theodora, who sought his help to establish monophysitism, and was made pope after the deposition of Silverius. After he refused to sign Emperor Justinian I's edict condemning the 3 chapters, Vigilius was arrested in 545 and taken to Constantinople. He died in Sicily while returning to Rome. Pope Pelagius I, Roman. Credited with the construction of the Basilica of Santi Apostoli. Pope Pelagius I, died March 4, 561, was the Bishop of Rome from 556 to his death. A former apocrisiarius to Constantinople, Pelagius I was elected pope as the candidate of Emperor Justinian I, a designation not well received in the Western Church. Before his papacy, he opposed Justinian's efforts to condemn the 3 chapters in order to reconcile theological factions within the Church, but later adopted Justinian's position. Pope John III, Roman. Pope John III, Latin, Ioannes III, died July 13, 574, born Catelinus, was the Bishop of Rome from July 17, 561 to his death. Pope Benedict I, Roman. Pope Benedict I, Latin, Benedictus I, died July 30, 579, was the Bishop of Rome from June 2, 575 to his death. Benedict was the son of a man named Boniface, and was called Bonicius by the Greeks. The ravages of the Lombards rendered it very difficult to communicate with the emperor at Constantinople, who claimed the privilege of confirming the election of popes. Hence there was a vacancy of nearly 11 months between the death of Pope John III and the arrival of the imperial confirmation of Benedict's election on June 2, 575. Pope Pelagius II, Romanized Ostrogoth, ordered the construction of the Basilica di San Lorenzo fuori le Mura. Pope Pelagius II, died February 7, 590, was the Bishop of Rome from November 26, 579 to his death. Pelagius was a native of Rome, but probably of Ostrogothic descent, as his father's name was Winigild. Pelagius appealed for help from Emperor Maurice against the Lombards, but to no avail, forcing Pelagius to buy a truce and turn to the Franks, who invaded Italy, but left after being bribed by the Lombards. Pope Gregory I, last imperial Roman pope, great-great-grandson of Pope Felix III, the first formally to employ the titles Servus Servorum Dei and Pontifex Maximus. Established the Gregorian chant. Feast day September 3rd. Also revered as a saint in Eastern Christianity, with a feast day of March 12. Known as the Father of Christian Worship. Known as St. Gregory the Dialogist in Eastern Orthodoxy. First millennium. 7th century line of Pope. Pope Sabinian, Roman. For the next 2 centuries the Roman popes were all controlled by the Byzantine Empire. Pope Sabinian, Latin, Sabinianus, died February 22, 606, was the Bishop of Rome from September 13, 604 to his death. His pontificate occurred during the Eastern Roman domination of the papacy. He was the 4th former Apocrisiarius to Constantinople to be elected pope. Pope Boniface III, Greek. Pope Boniface III, Latin, Bonifatius III, died November 12, 607, was the Bishop of Rome from February 19, 607 to his death. Despite his short pontificate he made a significant contribution to the Catholic Church. Pope Boniface IV, Roman. First pope to bear the same name as his immediate predecessor. Member of the Order of Saint Benedict. Pope Boniface IV, Latin, Bonifatius IV, died May 8, 615, was the Bishop of Rome from 608 to his death. Boniface had served as a deacon under Pope Gregory I, and like his mentor, he ran the Lateran Palace as a monastery. As pope, he encouraged monasticism. With imperial permission, he converted the Pantheon into a church. In 610, he conferred with Bishop Mellitus of London regarding the needs of the English Church. He is venerated as a saint in the Catholic Church with a universal feast day on May 8. Saint Adeodatus I, Roman. Sometimes called Deus Dedit. The first pope to use lead seals on papal documents, which in time came to be called papal bulls. Pope Adeodatus I, 570–8 November 618, also called Deodatus I or Deus Dedit, was the Bishop of Rome from October 19, 615 to his death. He was the first priest to be elected pope since John II in 533. The first use of lead seals or bulli on papal documents is attributed to him. His feast day is November 8. Pope Boniface V, Roman. Pope Boniface V, Latin, Bonifatius V, died October 25, 625, was the Bishop of Rome from December 23, 619 to his death. He did much for the Christianization of Anglo-Saxon England, and enacted the decree by which churches became places of sanctuary. Pope Honorius I, Roman. Named a heretic and anathematized by the Third Council of Constantinople. 680. Pope Honorius I, died October 12, 638, was the Bishop of Rome from October 27, 625 to his death. He was active in spreading Christianity among Anglo-Saxons and attempted to convince the Celts to calculate Easter in the Roman fashion. He is chiefly remembered for his correspondence with Patriarch Sergius I of Constantinople over the latter's monothelite teachings. Honorius was posthumously anathematized, initially for subscribing to monothelitism, and later only for failing to end it. The anathema against Honorius I became one of the central arguments against the doctrine of papal infallibility. Pope Severinus, Roman. Pope Severinus, died August 2, 640, was the Bishop of Rome elected in October 638. He was caught up in a power struggle with Emperor Heraclius, who pressured him to accept monothelitism. Severinus refused, which for over 18 months hindered his efforts to obtain imperial recognition of his election. His pontificate was finally sanctioned on May 28, 640, but he died 2 months later. Pope John IV, Roman. Pope John IV, Latin, Ioannes IV, died October 12, 642, was the Bishop of Rome from December 24, 640 to his death. His election followed a 4-month vacancy. He wrote to the clergy of Ireland and Scotland to tell them of the mistakes they were making with regard to the time of keeping Easter and condemned monothelism as heresy. Pope Theodore I, Greek. The last pope from Palestine. Planned a Lateran Council of 649, but died before it could open. Pope Theodore I, Latin, Theodorus I, died May 14, 649, was the Bishop of Rome from November 24, 642 to his death. His pontificate was dominated by the struggle with monothelitism. Pope Martin I, Roman. Last pope recognized as a martyr. Feast day of November 12. Also revered as a saint in Eastern Christianity, with a feast day of April 14. Pope Martin I, Latin, Martinus I, between 590 and 600 to 16 September 655, also known as Martin the Confessor, was the Bishop of Rome from July 21, 649 to his death. He served as Pope Theodore I's ambassador to Constantinople and was elected to succeed him as Pope. He was the only pope during the Eastern Roman domination of the papacy whose election was not approved by an imperial mandate from Constantinople. For his strong opposition to monothelitism, Pope Martin I was arrested by Emperor Constans II, carried off to Constantinople, and ultimately banished to Cherson. He is considered a saint and martyr by the Catholic Church and the Eastern Orthodox Church. Saint Eugene I, Roman. Pope Eugene I, Latin, Eugenius I, died June 2, 657, was the Bishop of Rome from August 10, 654 to his death. He was chosen to become pope after the deposition and banishment of Martin I by Emperor Constans II over the dispute about monothelitism. Saint Vitalian, Roman. Pope Vitalian, Latin, Vitalianus, died January 27, 672, was the Bishop of Rome from July 30, 657 to his death. His pontificate was marked by the dispute between the papacy and the imperial government in Constantinople over monothelitism, which Rome condemned. Vitalian tried to resolve the dispute and had a conciliatory relationship with Emperor Constans II, who visited him in Rome and gave him gifts. Vitalian's pontificate also saw the secession of the Archbishopric of Ravenna from the papal authority. Pope Adeodatus II, Roman. Sometimes called Adeodatus, without a number, in reference to Adeodatus I, sometimes being called Deus Dedit. Member of the Order of Saint Benedict. Pope Adeodatus II, died June 17, 676, sometimes called Deodatus, was the Bishop of Rome from 672 to his death. He devoted much of his papacy to improving churches and fighting monothelism. Pope Donus, Roman. Pope Donus, died on April 11, 678, was the Bishop of Rome from 676 to his death. Few details survive about him or his achievements beyond what is recorded in the Liber Pontificalis. Pope Agatho, Greek. Also revered as a saint in Eastern Christianity, with the feast day of February 20th. Pope Agatho, died January 681, served as the Bishop of Rome from June 27, 678 until his death too. He heard the appeal of Wilfrid of York, who had been displaced from his see by the division of the archdiocese ordered by Theodore of Canterbury. During Agatho's tenure, the Sixth Ecumenical Council was convened, which dealt with the monothelitism controversy. He is venerated as a saint by both the Catholic and Eastern Orthodox churches. Pope Leo II, Greek. Pope Leo II, 611–28 June 683, was the Bishop of Rome from August 17, 682 to his death. He is one of the popes of the Byzantine papacy. Described by a contemporary biographer as both just and learned, he is commemorated as a saint in the Roman Martyrology on June 28, July 3, pre-1970 calendar. Saint Benedict II, Greek. Pope Benedict II, Latin, Benedictus II, was the Bishop of Rome from June 26, 684 to his death. Pope Benedict II's feast day is May 7. Pope John V, Greek. Pope John V, Latin, Ioannes V, died August 2, 686, was the Bishop of Rome from July 23, 685 to his death. He was the first pope of the Byzantine papacy consecrated without prior imperial consent, and the first in a line of 10 consecutive popes of Eastern origin. His papacy was marked by reconciliation between the city of Rome and the empire. Pope Conon, Greek. Pope Conon, died September 21, 687, was the Bishop of Rome from October 21, 686 to his death. He had been put forward as a compromise candidate, there being a conflict between the two factions resident in Rome, the military and the clerical. He consecrated the Irish missionary Kilian and commissioned him to preach in Franconia. Saint Sergius I, Hellenized Syrian, introduced the singing of the Lamb of God at Mass. Pope Sergius I, c. 650–8 September 701, was the Bishop of Rome from December 15, 687, to his death. He was elected at a time when two rivals, Paschal and Theodore, were locked in dispute about which of them should become pope. His papacy was dominated by his response to the Quinisext Council, the canons of which he steadfastly refused to accept. Thereupon Emperor Justinian II ordered Sergius' arrest, but the Roman people and the Italian militia of the Exarch of Ravenna refused to allow the Exarch to bring Sergius to Constantinople. First millennium, 8th century line of Pope. Pope John VI, Greek. The only pope who came from Asia Minor. Pope John VI, Latin, Ioannes 6, 655–11 January 705, was the Bishop of Rome from October 30, 701 to his death. John VI was a Greek from Ephesus who reigned during the Byzantine papacy. His papacy was noted for military and political breakthroughs on the Italian peninsula. He was succeeded by Pope John VII after a vacancy of less than 2 months. The body of the Pope was buried in Old St. Peter's Basilica. Pope John VII. Greek. The second Pope to bear the same name as his immediate predecessor. Pope John VII, Latin, Ioan 7, c. 650 to 18 October 707, was the Bishop of Rome from March 1, 705 to his death. He was an ethnic Greek, one of the Byzantine popes, but had better relations with the Lombards, who ruled much of Italy, than with Emperor Justinian II, who ruled the rest. Pope Sisinnius. Syrian. Pope Sisinnius, c. 650 to 4 February 708, was the Bishop of Rome from January 15, 708 to his death. Sisinnius was Syrian by birth too, and his father's name was John. The paucity of donations to the papacy during his reign, 42 pounds of gold and 310 pounds of silver, a fraction of the personal donations of other contemporary pontiffs, indicate that he was probably not from the aristocracy. Pope Constantine. Syrian. Last pope to visit Greece while in office, until John Paul II in 2001. Pope Constantine, Latin, Constantinus, 664 to 9 April 715, was the Bishop of Rome from March 25, 708 to his death. One of the last popes of the Byzantine papacy, the defining moment of Constantine's pontificate was his 710/711 visit to Constantinople, where he compromised with Justinian II on the Trullan canons of the Aquinas Council. Constantine's was the last papal visit to Constantinople until 1967. Saint Gregory II. Roman. Feast day February 11. Held the Synod of Rome, 721. Pope Gregory II, Latin, Gregorius II, 669 to 11 February 731, was the Bishop of Rome from May 19, 715 to his death. Won his defiance of Emperor Leo III the Isaurian as a result of the iconoclastic controversy in the Eastern Empire, prepared the way for a long series of revolts, schisms and civil wars that eventually led to the establishment of the temporal power of the popes. Saint Gregory III. Syrian, the last pope from Syria. The third pope to bear the same name as his immediate predecessor. Was previously the last pope to have been born outside Europe until the election of Francis in 2013. Pope Gregory III, Latin, Gregorius III, died November 28, 741, was the Bishop of Rome from February 11, 731 to his death. His pontificate, like that of his predecessor, was disturbed by Byzantine iconoclasm and the advance of the Lombards, in which he invoked the intervention of Charles Martel, although ultimately in vain. He was the last pope to seek the consent of the Byzantine Exarch of Ravenna for his election. Saint Zacharsi. Greek. Feast day March 15. Built the Church of Santa Maria sopra Minerva. Pope Zachary, Latin, Zacharias, 679, March 752, was the Bishop of Rome from December 741 to his death. He was the last pope of the Byzantine papacy. Zachary built the original Church of Santa Maria sopra Minerva, forbade the traffic of slaves in Rome, negotiated peace with the Lombards, and sanctioned Pepin the Short's usurpation of the Frankish throne from Childeric III. Zachary is regarded as a capable administrator and a skillful and subtle diplomat in a dangerous time. Pope Stephen II, Roman, sometimes called Stephen III, the donation of Pepin, brother of Paul I. Pope Stephen II, Latin, Stephanus II, 714–26 April 757, was the Bishop of Rome from March 26, 752 to his death. Stephen II marks the historical delineation between the Byzantine papacy and the Frankish papacy. During Stephen's pontificate, Rome was facing invasion by the Lombards when Stephen II went to Paris to seek assistance from Pepin the Short. Pepin defeated the Lombards and made a gift of land to the Pope, eventually leading to the establishment of the Papal States. Saint Paul I, Roman, brother of Stephen II. Pope Paul I, Latin, Paulus I, 700–28 June 767, was the Bishop of Rome and ruler of the emerging Papal States from May 29, 757 to his death. He first served as a Roman deacon and was frequently employed by his brother, Pope Stephen II, in negotiations with the Lombard kings. Pope Stephen III, Greek, sometimes called Stephen IV. He summoned a Lateran Council, 769. Pope Stephen III, Latin, Stephanus III, died February 1, 772, was the Bishop of Rome and ruler of the Papal States from August 7, 768 to his death. Stephen was a Benedictine monk who worked in the Lateran Palace during the reign of Pope Zachary. In the midst of a tumultuous contest by rival factions to name a successor to Pope Paul I, Stephen was elected with the support of the Roman officials. He summoned a Lateran Council of 769, which sought to limit the influence of the nobles in papal elections. The council also opposed iconoclasm. Pope Adrian I, a Roman. Pope Adrian I, Latin, Hadrianus I, died December 25, 795, was the Bishop of Rome and ruler of the Papal States from February 1, 772 to his death. He was the son of Theodore, a Roman nobleman. Saint Leo III, Roman, crowned Charlemagne emperor on Christmas Day, 800, thereby initiating what would become the Holy Roman Empire, requiring the imprimatur of the Pope for its ruler's legitimacy. Pope Leo III was the Bishop of Rome and ruler of the Papal States from December 26, 795 to his death. Protected by Charlemagne from the supporters of his predecessor, Adrian I, Leo subsequently strengthened Charlemagne's position by crowning him emperor. The coronation was not approved in Constantinople, although the Byzantines, occupied with their own defenses, were in no position to offer much opposition. First millennium, 9th century line of Pope. Pope Stephen IV, first pope born in Rome after breaking away from the Roman Empire, sometimes called Stephen V. Pope Stephen IV, Latin, Stephanus IV 770–24 January 817, was the Bishop of Rome and ruler of the Papal States from June 816 to his death. Stephen belonged to a noble Roman family. In October 816, he crowned Louis the Pious as emperor at Reims, and persuaded him to release some Roman political prisoners he held in custody. He returned to Rome, by way of Ravenna, sometime in November and died the following January. Saint Paschal I, Italian, son of Bonicius and Episcopa Theodora. Credited with finding the body of Saint Cecilia in the catacomb of Calixtus, building the Basilica of Santa Cecilia in Trastevere and the Church of Santa Maria in Dominica. Pope Paschal I, Latin, Paschalis I, died 824, was the Bishop of Rome and ruler of the Papal States from January 25, 817 to his death in 824. Pope Eugene II. Italian. Pope Eugene II, Latin, Eugenius II, died August 27, 827, was the Bishop of Rome and ruler of the Papal States from June 6, 824 to his death. A native of Rome, he was chosen by nobles to succeed Paschal I as Pope despite the clergy and the people favoring Zinzinius. The influence of the Carolingian Franks on the selection of popes was then firmly established. Pope Eugene convened a council at Rome in 826 to condemn simony and suspend untrained clergy. It was decreed that schools were to be established at cathedral churches and other places to give instruction in sacred and secular literature. His involvement in the Byzantine iconoclasm controversy was largely inconsequential. Pope Valentine. Italian. Pope Valentine, in Latin, Valentinus, died October 10, 827, was the Bishop of Rome and ruler of the Papal States for 2 months in 827. He was unusually close to his predecessor, Eugene II, rumored to be his son or his lover, and became pope before being ordained as a priest. He was a nobleman and elected by nobility, which later became the custom. Pope Gregory IV. Italian. Rebuilt the atrium of St. Peter's Basilica and in the newly decorated chapel transferred the body of Gregory I. Pope Gregory IV, Latin, Gregorius IV, died January 25, 844, was the Bishop of Rome and ruler of the Papal States from October 827 to his death. His pontificate was notable for the papacy's attempts to intervene in the quarrels between Emperor Louis the Pious and his sons. It also saw the breakup of the Carolingian Empire in 843. Pope Sergius II. Italian. Pope Sergius II, Latin, Sergius II, died January 27, 847, was the Bishop of Rome and ruler of the Papal States from January 844 to his death. Sergius II's pontificate saw the Arab raid against Rome as well as the city's redevelopment. Saint Leo IV. Lombard. Member of the Order of Saint Benedict. Pope Leo IV, 790 to 17 July 855, was the Bishop of Rome and ruler of the Papal States from April 10, 847 to his death. He is remembered for repairing Roman churches that had been damaged during Arab raids on Rome, and for building the Leonine Wall around Vatican Hill. Pope Leo organized a league of Italian cities who fought and won the sea battle of Ostia against the Saracens. Pope Benedict III. Lombard. Member of the Order of Saint Benedict. Italian, Pope Benedict III, Latin, Benedictus III, died April 17, 858, was the Bishop of Rome and ruler of the Papal States from September 29, 855 to his death. Saint Nicholas I. Italian. Encouraged missionary activity. Nicholas I, Latin, Nicolaus I, 800 to 13 November 867, called Nicholas the Great, was the Pope from April 24, 858 until his death. He is remembered as a consolidator of papal authority, exerting decisive influence on the historical development of the papacy and its position among the Christian nations of Western Europe. Nicholas I asserted that the Pope should have suzerainty over all Christians, even royalty, in matters of faith and morals. Pope Adrian II. Italian. Pope Adrian II, Latin, Adrianus II, 792 to 14 December 872, was the Bishop of Rome and ruler of the Papal States from 867 to his death. He continued the policy of his predecessor, Nicholas I. Despite seeking good relations with Louis II of Italy, he was placed under surveillance, and his wife and daughters were killed by Louis supporters. Pope John VIII. Italian. First Pope to be assassinated. Pope John VIII, Latin, Ioannes VIII, died December 16, 882, was the Bishop of Rome and ruler of the Papal States from December 14, 872 to his death. He is often considered one of the ablest popes of the 9th century. Pope Marinus I. Italian. Erroneously also known as Martin II. Pope Marinus I, died May 15, 884, was the Bishop of Rome and ruler of the Papal States from 882 until his death. Controversially at the time, he was already a bishop when he became pope, and had served as papal legate to Constantinople. Saint Adrian III. Italian. Feast day July 8. Adrian I was possibly his ancestor. Pope Adrian III or Hadrian III, Latin, Adrianus or Hadrianus, died July 885, was the Bishop of Rome and ruler of the Papal States from May 17, 884 to his death. He served for little more than a year, during which he worked to help the people of Italy in a very troubled time of famine and war. Pope Stephen V. Italian. Sometimes called Stephen VI. Pope Stephen V, Latin, Stephanus V, died September 14, 891, was the Bishop of Rome and ruler of the Papal States from September 885 to his death. In his dealings with Photius I of Constantinople, as also in his relations with the young Slavic Orthodox Church, he pursued the policy of Pope Nicholas I. Pope Formosus. Italian. In early 897 posthumously executed following the Cadaver Synod. His body was reburied with full Christian honors in 897. Pope Formosus, 816 to 896, was the Bishop of Rome and ruler of the Papal States whose pontificate lasted from October 6, 891 to his death. His reign as Pope was troubled, marked by interventions in power struggles over the Patriarchate of Constantinople, the Kingdom of West Francia, and the Holy Roman Empire. Because he sided with Arnulf of Carinthia against Lambert of Spoleto, Formosus's remains were exhumed and put on trial in the Cadaver Synod. Several of his immediate successors were primarily preoccupied by the controversial legacy of his pontificate. Pope Boniface VI. Italian. Pope Boniface VI, Latin, Bonifatius VI, 806, April 896, was the Bishop of Rome and ruler of the Papal States in April 896. He was a native of Rome. His election came about as a result of riots soon after the death of Pope Formosus. Prior to his reign, he had twice incurred a sentence of deprivation of orders as a subdeacon and as a priest. After a pontificate of 15 days, he is said by some to have died of the gout, by others to have been forcibly ejected to make way for Stephen VI, the candidate of the Spoletan party. Pope Stephen VI. Italian. Sometimes called Stephen VII. Held the infamous Cadaver Synod. Pope Stephen VI, Latin, Stephanus VI, died August 897, was the Bishop of Rome and ruler of the Papal States from May 22, 896 to his death. He is best known for instigating the Cadaver Synod, which ultimately led to his downfall and death. Pope Romanus. Italian. Pope Romanus, 867 to 897, was the Bishop of Rome and ruler of the Papal States from August to November 897. His short reign occurred during a period of partisan strife in the Catholic Church, amid the violence and disorder in central Italy. His pontificate ended when he was deposed and confined to a monastery. Pope Theodore II. Greek. Pope Theodore II, Latin, Theodorus II, 840, December 897, was the Bishop of Rome and ruler of the Papal States for 20 days in December 897. His short reign occurred during a period of partisan strife in the Catholic Church, which was entangled with a period of violence and disorder in central Italy. His main act as Pope was to annul the recent Cadaver Synod, therefore reinstating the acts and ordinations of Pope Formosus, which had themselves been annulled by Pope Stephen VI. He also had the body of Formosus recovered from the river Tiber and reburied with honor. He died in office in late December 897. Pope Romanus, 867 to 897, was the Bishop of Rome and ruler of the Papal States from August to November 897. His short reign occurred during a period of partisan strife in the Catholic Church, amid the violence and disorder in central Italy. His pontificate ended when he was deposed and confined to a monastery. Pope John IX. Lombard. Member of the Order of Saint Benedict. Pope John IX, Latin, Ioannes IX, died January 900, was the Bishop of Rome and ruler of the Papal States from January 898 to his death. Pope Benedict IV. Italian. Pope Benedict IV, Latin, Benedictus IV, died July 30, 903, was the Bishop of Rome and ruler of the Papal States from February 1, 900 to his death. The 10th century historian Flodoard, who nicknamed him the Great, commended his noble birth and public generosity. First millennium. 10th century line of Pope. Pope Leo V. Italian. Deposed and murdered. Pope Leo V was the Bishop of Rome and nominal ruler of the Papal States from July 903 to his death in February 904. He was Pope during the period known as the Saeculum Obscurum, when popes wielded little temporal authority. Pope Sergius III. Italian. Saeculum Obscurum begins. The first pope to be depicted with the papal tiara. Pope Sergius III, 860 April 14, 911, was the Bishop of Rome and nominal ruler of the Papal States from January 29, 904 to his death. He was pope during a period of violence and disorder in central Italy, when warring aristocratic factions sought to use the material and military resources of the papacy. Because Sergius III had reputedly ordered the murder of his two immediate predecessors, Leo V and Christopher, and allegedly fathered an illegitimate son who later became Pope, John XI, his pontificate has been variously described as dismal and disgraceful, and deficient and ruthless. Pope Anastasius III. Italian. Pope Sir Anastasius III, died June 913, was the Bishop of Rome and ruler of the Papal States from April 911 to his death. Anastasius was a Roman by birth. A Roman nobleman, Lucian, is sometimes recognized as his father, although other sources assert that he was the illegitimate son of his predecessor, Pope Sergius III. Pope Lando. Italian. Lando, also known as Landus, was Pope from September 913 to his death c. March 914. His short pontificate fell during an obscure period in Papal and Roman history, the so-called Saeculum Obscurum, 904 to 964. He was the last pope to use a papal name, in his case, his birth name, that had not been used previously until the election of Pope Francis in 2013. Pope John X. Italian. Pope John X, Latin, Ioannes X, died May 28, 928, was the Bishop of Rome and nominal ruler of the Papal States from March 914 to his death. A candidate of the Counts of Tusculum, he attempted to unify Italy under the leadership of Berengar of Friuli, and was instrumental in the defeat of the Saracens at the Battle of Garigliano. He eventually fell out with Marozia, who had him deposed, imprisoned, and finally murdered. John's pontificate occurred during the period known as the Saeculum Obscurum. Pope Leo VI. Italian. Pope Leo VI, 880 to 12 February 929, was the Bishop of Rome and nominal ruler of the Papal States for just over 7 months, from June 928 to his death. His pontificate occurred during the period known as the Saeculum Obscurum. Pope Stephen VII. Italian. Sometimes called Stephen VIII. Pope Stephen VII, Latin, Stephanus VII, died March 15, 931, was the Bishop of Rome and nominal ruler of the Papal States from February 929 to his death in 931. A candidate of the infamous Marozia, his pontificate occurred during the period known as the Saeculum Obscurum. Pope John XI. Italian. Probably, according to the Liber Pontificalis and Liutprand of Cremona, the son of Pope Sergius III, and not of Alberic I of Spoleto, who was Marozia's husband. Pope John XI, Latin, Ioannes XI, died December 935, was the Bishop of Rome and nominal ruler of the Papal States from March 931 to his death. The true ruler of Rome at the time was his mother, Marozia, followed by his brother Alberic II. The period is known as Saeculum Obscurum. Pope Leo VII. Italian. Member of the Order of Saint Benedict. Pope Leo VII, Latin, Leo VII, died July 13, 939, was the Bishop of Rome and nominal ruler of the Papal States from January 3, 936 to his death. Pope Stephen VIII. Italian. Sometimes called Stephen IX. Pope Stephen VIII, Latin, Stephanus VIII, died October 942, was the Bishop of Rome and nominal ruler of the Papal States from July 14, 939 to his death. His pontificate occurred during the Saeculum Obscurum, when the power of popes was diminished by the ambitious Counts of Tusculum, and was marked by the conflict between his patron, Alberic II of Spoleto, and King Hugh of Italy. Pope Marinus II. Pope Marinus II, died May 946, was the Bishop of Rome and ruler of the Papal States from October 30, 942 to his death. He has also been mistakenly called Martinus. He ruled during the Saeculum Obscurum. Pope Agapitus II. Italian. Pope Agapitus II, died November 8, 955, was the Bishop of Rome and ruler of the Papal States from May 10, 946 to his death. A nominee of the Princeps of Rome, Alberic II of Spoleto, his pontificate occurred during the period known as the Saeculum Obscurum. Pope John XII. Italian. Third Pope not to use his personal name, Octavian. Deposed in 963 by Emperor Otto invalidly, and of the Saeculum Obscurum. Pope John XII, Latin, Iowans 12, 930/937, May 14, 964, born Octavian, was the Bishop of Rome and ruler of the Papal States from December 16, 955 to his death in 964. He was related to the Counts of Tusculum, a powerful Roman family which had dominated papal politics for over half a century. He became pope in his late teenage years or early 20s. In 960, he clashed with the Lombards to the south. Unable to control Rome easily, he sought help from King Otto I of Germany and crowned him emperor. John XII's pontificate became infamous for the alleged depravity and worldliness with which he conducted his office. He soon fell out with Otto, but died before Otto succeeded in his attempt to depose him. Pope Benedict V, Italian. Elected by the people of Rome, in opposition to Leo VIII, who was appointed by Emperor Otto, he accepted his own deposition in 964, leaving Leo VIII as the sole pope. Pope Benedict V, Latin, Benedictus V, died July 4, 965, was the Bishop of Rome and ruler of the Papal States from May 22 to June 23, 964, in opposition to Leo VIII. He was overthrown by Emperor Otto I. His brief pontificate occurred at the end of a period known as the Saeculum Obscurum. Pope Leo VIII, Italian. His pontificate from 963 to 964 is considered illegitimate by today's Catholic Church. An appointee of Emperor Otto I, his pontificate occurred during the period known as the Saeculum Obscurum. Pope Leo VIII, 915 to 1 March 965, was a Roman prelate who claimed the Holy See from 963 until 964 in opposition to John XII and Benedict V, and again from June 23, 964 to his death. Today he is considered by the Catholic Church to have been an anti-pope during the first period and the legitimate pope during the second. An appointee of Holy Roman Emperor Otto I, Leo VIII's pontificate occurred during the period known as the Saeculum Obscurum. Pope John XIII, Italian. Chronicled after his death as the Good. Pope John XIII, Latin, Iowans 13, died September 6, 972, was the Bishop of Rome and ruler of the Papal States from October 1, 965 to his death. His pontificate was caught up in the continuing conflict between the Holy Roman Emperor, Otto I, and the Roman nobility. After long and arduous negotiations, he succeeded in arranging a Byzantine marriage for Otto II, in an effort to legitimize the Ottonian claim to imperial dignity. He also established church hierarchy in Poland and Bohemia. Pope Benedict VI, Lombard. Deposed and murdered. Pope Benedict VI, Latin, Benedictus VI, died June 974, was the Bishop of Rome and ruler of the Papal States from January 19, 973 to his death in 974. His brief pontificate occurred in the political context of the establishment of the Holy Roman Empire, during the transition between the reigns of Otto I and Otto II, incorporating the struggle for power of Roman aristocratic families such as the Crescentii and Tusculani. Pope Benedict VII, Italian, Pope Benedict VII, Latin, Benedictus VII, died October 983, was the Bishop of Rome and ruler of the Papal States from October 974 to his death. Pope John XIV, Italian. Fourth Pope not to use his personal name, Pietro Canipanova. Pope John XIV, Latin, Iowans 14, died August 20, 984, born Pietro Canipanova, was the Bishop of Rome and ruler of the Papal States from November 983 until his death. Pope John XV. Italian. The first pope to formally canonize a saint. Pope John XV, Latin, Ioannes 15, died on April 1, 996, was the Bishop of Rome and ruler of the Papal States from August 985 until his death. A Roman by birth, he was the first pope who canonized a saint. The origins of the investiture controversy stem from John XV's pontificate, when the dispute about the deposition of Archbishop Arnulf of Reims soured the relationship between the Capetian kings of France and the Holy See. Pope Gregory V. The first official German pope and fifth not to use his personal name, Bruno. Henceforth, this decision became tradition among future popes. Pope Gregory V, Latin, Gregorius V, 972 to 18 February 999, born Bruno of Carinthia, was the Bishop of Rome and ruler of the Papal States from May 3, 996 to his death. A member of the Salian dynasty, he was made pope by his cousin Emperor Otto III. Pope Sylvester II. Born Gerbert, the first French, Occitan, Pope. Pope Sylvester II, 946 to 12 May 1003, originally known as Gerbert of Aurillac, was a French-born scholar and teacher who served as the Bishop of Rome and ruled the Papal States from 999 to his death. He endorsed and promoted study of Arab and Greco-Roman arithmetic, mathematics, and astronomy, reintroducing to Europe the abacus and armillary sphere, which had been lost to Latin Europe since the end of the Greco-Roman era. He is said to be the first to introduce in Europe the decimal numeral system using Hindu-Arabic numerals.